3 years ago, I went all in with high ticket closing. Before that moment, I knew about high ticket closing, but I never paid attention to it. I heard about it and I knew it was a thing. I realized that it was the fastest and the safest way to get from where I was, which is working in a kitchen 40 hours a week, making $1,200 a month, $1,200, to being able to make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 per month online without having to build a traditional online business. 2 years before, I was all in on building my own consultancy, building my own agency, building my own traditional online business. And what I found is that is extremely hard, is extremely complex, because you have to do everything. You need to have multiple set of skills. Oftentimes, you need to even have capital, upfront capital, to be able to take off these business models. It was extremely hard. And I was extremely stubborn. So I tried for 2 years. I continued to bang my head against the wall for 2 years. It didn't work. Of course, I made clients, I made money, but in total, I was negative. I was in debt. I tried different models. And also I was in this constant, I don't know, I'm sure if you know about the valley of despair, where you try something, it doesn't work, and then you just jump into a different thing. You never really, really commit to something. And I was in this internal battle, because at the beginning it was like that. Then I knew about this and I said, no, I'm just going to commit. Let's just try another year, 6 months into this thing. Didn't work. Another 6 months. I ended up spending 2 years with no tangible results. I wasn't able to take anything off the ground. And in that moment, I was like, I've tried for 2 years. There's got to be a better way. Then I started paying attention to these guys, remote closers. They were working remotely. They would always change places and be in different places. And they didn't have a traditional online business. Like, they wouldn't have to manage all these departments like marketing, sales, client delivery, client fulfillment, finance. They didn't even have a team. And I started like, okay, what are these guys doing? What are they doing? Okay, high ticket closing, how does that work? I started diving, I started paying more attention to the model. And it turns out you only need to learn one skill, which is high ticket closing, that has nothing to do with sales, because you're only talking with people that are already interested in purchasing the program or the product or the service. So it's like a specific type of service you're offering, which is closing for high ticket online education companies. Essentially what you do, you just simply do one thing. You just close and enroll clients in behalf of one company. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all in with this. This is the thing. It gave me tremendous amount of hope and certainty, because I was like, I can do this. I can learn one skill and just close for one client. Then having to build a full-blown business and having to manage all these departments and all these things, I would do that. One of the biggest things, at least for me, was like, okay, so they are going to generate the leads. They are running this big business. They are running the marketing. They're generating the leads. They just need someone that can do the closing. So I don't have to pay for the leads. I don't have to put my face. I don't have to advertise. I don't have to create content. I don't even have to deliver. Like, I close the client, I enroll the client, and they have their delivery department. Like, I don't have to fulfill on the service. I was like, I can do this, Even I had insecurities because I'm from Spain, and English is not my native language, and I didn't know anybody in the industry. But I was like, the certainty and the confidence was so high because it was so simple that I was like, I can, learn better English. I can get into the English market somehow. This is not impossible. Like, there's got to be a way. That was my plan. I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to focus over the next year. I'm going to make it work. So when it comes to taking action, I was like, okay, how am I going to do it? Okay, I need to learn the skill. I need to get to a place where I can speak English properly. And that's why I always say, if you speak English, like if you live in America, like if you live in the US already, you have access to internet. You like helping people. You like talking with people. You are already in a better spot compared to where I was. Because for me, it was like, okay, I need to learn English. I need the skill of high ticket closing. And of course, I need internet connection and a laptop. So then I was like, okay, cool. Those are the first things that I need. The skill is the most important one. And then I can just, take English classes or whatever and just learn the thing. And I was like, okay. And then once I have the skill, I need a client, I need a high ticket client to do this for. I need to know where to go or have some sort of way to connect with this industry, with these companies, etc. And then it was very clear to me, okay, I'm going to invest in a mentor. Because in my initial 2 years, I purchased courses, I did coaching programs to try to take these businesses off the ground. It was tremendously helpful because I didn't have to figure things out on my own. So I was like, I'm going to invest in a high ticket coach. for this. And I went all in. I went all in. I put it on a credit card because I was already maxed out myself on credit. So this credit card actually came from my life partner. So we had a conversation and I said to her, hey, I'm going to make this work. My credit is maxed out. Like I cannot use more credit, right? And I'm already paying for these loans that I've used. So there's no way I can get more credit. I can save 500 euros every month, but then that means that I will have to save for 1 year to be able to go all in into this thing. And I don't want to wait 1 year. So you can say no, it's your credit, and that's okay. I will understand that. You don't have to follow me and support me on this, but I want to do this, and I know I have your emotional support. I want to ask you if you are willing to help me financially with this, because I'm going to make it work. She could have said no, but she said yes. She said, hey, I know that you're going to put this into better use than if I ever use this. I trust you, and I know you can get there. Let's do it. So we took my life partner's loan and I used it to invest in this program, and I went all in. And for me personally, it took me 3 months to get to a minimum viable level where I would feel confident because of my accent, because of my insecurities, right? So I trained myself, I practice, I role play in front of the mirror. I remember just learning these specific ways of saying things because, I couldn't improvise because I have an accent and I didn't know English very well. And then after 3 months of training, I got into the market. I started hopping on calls with companies that were looking for closers. I worked with 2 to 3 companies before I found the company that really took things off for me, which was my 4th company, I believe. So I first started with an agency, then I started with online education company, and then I started with a Airbnb consulting company. I did close some deals here and there and whatnot, but nothing really took off because one of the biggest things is you need to find the right type of company where they are in that place where they truly need a closer and you can really, really come and provide this value, and they're actively looking for closers, right? So while I was in the Airbnb offer and it was going great, don't get me wrong, like we're taking things off with me and the business owner, I found the opportunity with the company that I had on my radar and they started to hire. So I applied, I spoke with them, and it was clear that was my opportunity. I spoke with the business owner. I let him know. It was a hard conversation, but I needed to do it because I told him otherwise I'm going to regret it my entire life. And I hopped into this offer. This company had half of their clientele in the US, half of their clientele in Europe, and they were charging in euros. So in my first month, I made 5,000 euros. Okay, my first month of working with this company. So if we take a look at the journey, it will be my 7th month of having gone all in. The second month, I made 7,000 euros. The third month, I made 7,000 euros again. The fourth month, I made 8,000 euros. And the fifth month, I made 11,000 euros as a high ticket closer. I made 5 figures in my 5th month of working with this company. So literally, in the span of 5 months, I went from 0 to 5 figures per month without having to run an online business, without having to take all this risk, just simply monetizing this one high income skill, high ticket closing. And the first month that I made those 5K, I really didn't grasp it. I just kept going. What really helped me when I saw those 5K was the evidence of this is real. Like someone like me can get here. That was like the biggest thing. And that simply just put me in this path of let's just go all in. Like, let's do more. Let's just keep doing this. Let's go. Let's just keep putting everything on the table. I was already all in, but let's just go more all in because that moment was like, God, okay. If I've done 5K, I can do 10, I can do 15, I can do 20, I can do 30. And then 5 months later, boom, I got there, right? And at that moment, again, I wasn't even able to digest all of that. I was like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, this is the thing. Like, this is the vehicle. This is the trampoline. Let me just capitalize as much as I can. Let me just squeeze this opportunity. And I continue to grow and to grow and to grow. And I reached, in my first year of starting with that company, I reached $20,000 per month, multiple times as a high ticket closer. And then from there, the beauty of high ticket closing is that a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors open up to you. You can become a sales manager. You can become a sales director. You can become a sales agency. You can train others. You can manage the team. There's a lot of things you can do. And one of the biggest reasons why I'm sharing this is because if there's someone out there watching this in a very similar situation, it's almost like I'm talking to my younger self, like the guy that was there, stubborn, trying to just do things on their own, trying to build their own business, just not looking at the opportunities, not having that wide field of view, so to say. With all of these insecurities, it's possible. You can get there. What is it that you need? Number one, you need to take relentless action. The only way you're going to get the skills, the knowledge, and everything is by taking action. You need to stop the consuming mode and you need to be creating. Creating this new identity is what's going to get you there. So one of the things that I did is I was constantly assessing my consuming/creation ratio. I would always have to be creating, meaning taking action, creating knowledge, creating skills, developing myself more than consuming stuff. That's the first thing. A lot of people nowadays, they are lost in the consuming mode. So you need to go out of consuming, start taking action, start developing yourself. That's the first thing. Just start. Honestly, just start. You don't need to know the 10 step ahead of you. You just need to start. Just know the first 2 or 3 and then just get started. The high income skill market is one of the biggest opportunities right now for beginners. And I'm living proof of that. I'm not only doing it for myself, I train others, I coach people, I coach and train beginners and experts to be able to go from zero to hit their goals with high ticket closing. So it's totally doable, but it doesn't even have to be high ticket closing. There are other high income skills like copywriting, content creation, like personal branding strategies. There's a lot of high income skills where you only need one skill, one big solution for this booming market, and one client, and you can get there. But honestly, if you are going to get something from this video, just simply take action. Just start. Do it with fear, do it with insecurities, just start, because that's the only way you're going to start building momentum, and you're truly going to step into the person you need to become to achieve the life that you want. Because the life that you want can only be achieved by you becoming the type of person that is capable of creating that life. So if you focus on developing that higher version of yourself, then as a natural consequence, you will have your goals. Hope you liked this video. If you did, let me know in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.